we heard some rumors this morning about potentially another guy being added to the Suns roster. There's rumors out there reporting that the Suns are interested in signing former, I guess you could say, Wizards point guard Tyus Jones. Now, Tyus Jones was projected to make anywhere between $10 and $14 million this year if he were to sign a contract. Has not signed a contract. But for Tyus Jones, if he's willing to take a prove-it deal on a veteran minimum and come in with a small offer but a large opportunity to have a big role in the rotation and be the starting point guard for the Phoenix Suns, it's a real possibility and a real opportunity for Tyus Jones to come here. When you heard that news, Ben, you texted me this morning and you said, hey, we have got to start the show off with the possibility and the rumors with Tyus Jones and the Phoenix Suns, a guy we've been preaching about for months now. What was your first take?
So it basically slowly, when I saw the news, I go, yeah, there's no way. There's no way Tyus Jones is not getting a contract from someone. If we would have talked about all the potential vet minimum guys, and we did, and you had mentioned Tyus Jones to me, and I was like, yeah, Tyus Jones is a slam dunk. Tyus Jones would be the best vet minimum signing out of all the players that we had talked about. That's how good he's been. But then I told you, and you agreed with me, neither of us were insane here, and I said, he's going to get like $30 million. That's how good Tyus Jones is. Tyus Jones, when he started for the Memphis Grizzlies and Ja Morant was out, they had a better record with Tyus Jones. He's a pretty good bulldog defensively. He's a really good playmaker. I still think it is insane that someone has not signed this guy. If the Suns are able to land Tyus Jones, and it looks like by all reporting it's going to happen, whether it's today or tomorrow, it is a slam dunk for the Phoenix Suns, and it completely changes my thoughts for the Suns, who I thought had no chance to win a title, had no chance to compete. Adding Tyus Jones into the fold, you can talk me into the Phoenix Suns being a sneaky, I'm still not all the way there, a sneaky championship contender, and I'll get into why in just a minute. But am I insane by saying that this is easily the best potential, and it looks like it's going to happen, signing by the Phoenix Suns or trade by the Phoenix Suns all offseason long?
Oh, not at all. And I think that for Tyus Jones, he's 28 years old, coming off the best year of his career, 12.7 points. He averaged 80% from free throw land, even more importantly, 41% from three, and almost 50% from the field. And the biggest thing for me when you look at his stats, 12 points, great, 7 assists a game. Could you imagine how many more assists he would average if he didn't have to pass the guys like Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole all game long?
Exactly.
Those guys can't make a shot for crap. Now you go on a team when you got Kevin Durant and you got Devin Booker, and you go into a franchise that's feeding for a championship culture. James Jones, who won a championship with the Miami Heat. You got Budenholzer, who's won plenty with the Spurs and with the Bucks. You're willing to take less money and go to a franchise and be around superstars that he's never really been around his whole career. I mean, Ja Morant from Memphis, Minnesota, never really was around any of those superstars. I guess Cat, you could say, was the highest level of superstar. But you got a guy in Tyus Jones that can come in and elevate his game and prove that he's a reliable point guard and prove that he can go in and get some valuable minutes on a really good team. Like, look what Grayson Allen did. Grayson Allen, before he came to the Phoenix Suns, was an unknown. All this guy's, all he wants to do is get into fights. He can't really prove that he's a three-point shooter and a reliable starter in the league. And he goes in, and he has the best career. He has the best season of his career last year. And I think Tyus Jones can definitely do that. He's young, he's hungry, he's tough, and he's one of those guys that you look at the last couple of years, 66 games, 80 games, 73. He's sustainable, and he can be a long-term point guard for what they need on this Phoenix Suns team.
Let's just talk about it as if he's already signed, because it looks like Tyus Jones is going to be a Phoenix Sun. Just imagine if it's either today or tomorrow. I put out on social media earlier today, Tyus Jones should start for the Phoenix Suns. Bradley Beal should go to the bench. And I've had a pushback from Phoenix Suns fans. What are we doing? What are we doing? Did we not watch the Phoenix Suns last year? Did we not watch Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal in a starting lineup together? It doesn't work. I'm not being funny. I'm not trying to have a hot take. It doesn't work. I watched it. They got cooked in the playoffs. They got pushed around defensively. What are we doing? There's too much redundancy in the offense by putting Bradley Beal on this Suns team, on this Suns starting lineup. There's too much redundancy. He does exactly what Devin Booker does. He does exactly what Kevin Durant does, but in a lesser role. You insert Tyus Jones into this operation, and you let Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, who we saw at one point, cook together, because you can have two guys who do the same thing really, really well in the same starting lineup at the same time. When you add a third guy to that, it becomes hero ball. Oftentimes, and maybe you can blame this on Frank Vogel, I'm willing to listen to that. The offense became stagnant. It became an offense that didn't work. It was hero ball. It was one-on-one, mano-a-mano hero ball, and if someone wasn't going off that night, they didn't know what they were doing. So you add Tyus Jones to this mix. He's the point guard for the Suns. You move Bradley Beal to the bench, and the argument of what is Bradley Beal going to think? I don't give a bleep about what Bradley Beal thinks, and I love Bradley Beal. He's making $50 million a year. If he doesn't want to be here, waive your no-trade clause, buddy. We'll figure it out a different way. Move Bradley Beal to the bench. You stick Devin Booker with Tyus Jones, and I would even start Ryan Dunn in this instance, but I'm willing to listen to other arguments there. Maybe they put at something else. But you cannot continue to roll out this small lineup. And if the Suns are bringing in Tyus Jones for a vet minimum contract, I can almost guarantee you they promised him a starting role. The best version of the Phoenix Suns is Tyus Jones starting and Bradley Beal going to the bench and being Washington Wizards cooking Bradley Beal. And then allowing the Suns to have a real facilitator and have a guy that shot 48, 41, and 80 splits last year. That is what works for the Phoenix Suns. Not doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. We watched what the Suns were last year. We watched those three guys together. It didn't work at the same time, and it doesn't mean Bradley Beal isn't going to still play 35 minutes a night. But at the end of the day, people think I'm worried about Bradley Beal's feelings. I'm not. If I'm Coach Budenholzer, I'm worried about putting players in the best position to succeed, not to massage people's egos. Am I crazy?
No, I agree with you 100%. I think Budenholzer is one of those coaches that's not afraid to put superstars on the bench. And I want to reiterate what you just said there, too. Because I think what Suns fans think when you say put Bradley Beal on the bench means, oh, well, now Tyus Jones is going to get more minutes. Not at all. Not at all. Put him on the bench. A guy that's had a lot of injury history, a lot of injury, he's injury prone every single year, but putting him off the bench, now you got another superstar in that second unit, and maybe if Kevin Durant and Devin Booker need a breather, Bradley Beal gets to do his own thing. You got him, Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, Mason Plumlee. That's a pretty solid second group. With Monty Morris at the point guard position too. But I think what people expect when you come out and say, and I've said this for a while too, put Bradley Beal on the bench, you assume that Bradley Beal is going to get less minutes. He's a good player. He's a good scorer. But you need a facilitator at the point guard position, and a guy like Tyus Jones that late down the stretch, and you go back to when the Memphis Grizzlies made a long playoff run with John Moran, and when Tyus Jones had to step in. He made a lot of crucial passes, a lot of crucial shots down that stretch in that Timberwolves series that put him over the edge. And that's something that what they need in this offense and on this team is that's what you didn't see last year for the Timberwolves in that series. I agree with you 100%.
It drives me insane. This is the problem with the Phoenix Suns media, the Phoenix Suns fan base, is we are too busy massaging the egos of this team and massaging the egos of players when in reality, I do not care. I'm reading a tweet right now. If the Suns get Tyus Jones, I think they should seriously consider a starting lineup of Jones, Beal, Booker, Durant, Nurkic. That's a lethal offense. You know what's a lethal offense? Beal, Booker, and Durant on the floor. And guess what happened? They got swept. That didn't work. You think adding Tyus Jones makes them a lethal offense? Sure, of course. They're going to put up points. And they're going to get bullied defensively like they were last year. Rudy Gobert is unplayable in the playoffs unless he's playing the Phoenix Suns. Rudy Gobert was actually really good in a playoff series for the first time in his life because the Suns had no answer for him defensively. If the Suns can get Tyus Jones, I've already mentioned what I believe they should do with it. This is a slam dunk and really changes my opinion of the Suns have no chance to compete for a title. It's not happening. Get off on your high horse to, you know what? This team is a sneaky playoff team if players stay healthy, and if they get Memphis Grizzlies Tyus Jones, the one that was battle-tested in the playoffs. Because the Wizards, you can make an argument, good player on a bad team. Well, I watched him on the Grizzlies. He was really good there. I simply cannot believe they're even in the running for Tyus Jones. This would be the number one ad for the Suns, but I digress.
No, and I agree with you 100%. And it was one of those things that you texted me this morning, and I was shocked that he's still on the table. I really think that NBA teams out there may have forgotten, or maybe they think that free agency only lasts a week. You wonder why a guy like that hasn't gotten picked up, but it'd be a great opportunity for him. Phoenix is a great place to live. Look, he comes from a program in Duke where he's learned a ton. He's tough. I think the biggest thing for me is his vision, his spacing, his basketball IQ. And this is someone that really can explode at the point guard position, given the perfect opportunity. You might have to sacrifice some dollars, but I don't really know how NBA contracts work. But for a guy like Tyus Jones, maybe you could add some incentives. Maybe you could add some things that, hey, if you make the playoffs or we win a certain amount of games or you average 10 assists per game, you get so-and-so. You know what I'm trying to say? Because a vet minimum guy, maybe they can find a loophole and try to get him some more money in the incentives. But I agree with you. I think he's in his prime, and he's only improving year to year.
It's interesting. Like, let's just take the Tyus Jones to the rest of the NBA. What is the rest of the NBA thinking? Tyus Jones, we've seen him in the playoffs. We've seen him with a playoff spot on the line. We've seen him in the regular season play meaningful basketball games, not just the Washington Wizards. This guy should have got 2 first-round picks at the deadline to a team that wanted to win a championship, to a team that needed an extra player. Suns fans who have become accustomed to hearing about Tyus Jones because it was a pipe dream at one point, I don't know what the rest of the NBA is doing. This is a win player. Like, this is a winning basketball player. This is a guy that has played in meaningful games, played in the playoffs. He's a fine defensive bulldog. He's 6 foot, so we'll still get bullied a little bit, which is why my argument of you can't have everyone there, so you got to do what everyone does best. Beal to the bench, Tyus Jones to the starting lineup to get a little bit bigger there. I can't believe the rest of the NBA is potentially allowing this to fall right in their laps.